everybody. I am Victoria Valdez, and I will be presenting on Reclaim Your Peace Stress Management for a Resilient Life. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a parent coach and neurofeedback provider. And before we jump into the meat of stress management strategies, I do want to tell you a little bit about the group practice that I own that's located in Brentwood, Tennessee, and a little bit more about me. So, getting started, Tri-Synergy Counseling is a group practice located in Brentwood, Tennessee. I am the founder, owner, and clinical operational director. We can service anybody for mental health services in the state of Tennessee, virtually or in person. And we really are a place that's committed to delivering life-changing, generationally transforming, culturally sensitive, quality, evidence-based mental health services to Tennessee's children, teens, families, couples, and adults. It really is a place where the mind, body, and soul can meet for healing because we use different modalities to really address holistically the whole person. In addition to our mental health services, we do provide neurofeedback services, parent coaching services, wellness offerings, which you're participating in right now. One of our wellness offerings is mental health and wellness webinars that are free for the community. And we offer intensives, groups, and support groups as well. We do immigration evals as well. So we offer a lot of great services. Alrighty, a little bit more about me is that I've been in private practice for over 6 years, and in that time frame, I started my group practice almost 2 years ago. I lead the Spanish speaking therapist group for the state of Tennessee. I'm also a mom of 3 myself. I have got some neurodivergent kiddos, and I am neurodivergent myself. I love writing. I love Latin dancing and teaching Latin dancing, like salsa, merengue, cumbia, bachata, and I love the outdoors. All right, we will go ahead and get started. So let's start with understanding stress. So it's the body's response to external pressures or internal worries. There's a difference between acute stress, chronic stress, and burnout. And a lot of common causes for stress for adults can be work, relationship, financial, health issues, societal pressures, um, anything weird, medical issues, just management. So if you're having untreated mental health issues that you're struggling with and they're untreated, that's going to add extra layer of stress. And then we also know, like PTSD, right? We can be experiencing stress from trauma. So, what's really important is highlighting what are the effects of unmanaged stress. Like we talk about stress, and we're in actually April is National Stress Awareness Month. So, it's a big topic for April, but it's really important because let's learn about like what happens if you're not managing it. So, there's physical effects, right? There's increased risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, a weakened immune system, headaches, digestive issues, sleep issues. Then there's emotional effects like heightened anxiety, a risk for depression, irritability, mood swings, emotional exhaustion. So that irritability or that emotional exhaustion, we're snapping off much more quicker. Cognitive effects. So we're going to have difficulty concentrating, memory issues, difficulty making decisions, having constant worry. Also, I would say going back to the emotional or cognitive as well, having like negative thought patterns as well. And then the behavior effects is we're going to have increased resilience on unhealthy or increased use of unhealthy coping mechanisms, which could be anything from overeating, substance uses, social withdrawal, using distractibility to a severe extent, like just watching TV all day, trying to disassociate from the problems, right? You're going to experience like decreased productivity and relationship strain, and it could be with your relationships at work, your romantic relationships, or with your children. So it really is important to get it under wraps, right? So take a moment right now and think on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being super stressed, 0 being pretty chill. How stressed do you feel daily? Think of today, think of the last few days. Do a measurement. Think of the last 7 days from a 0 to 10 on average. Pause the video, think about that, bring some awareness to yourself. One of the best things that we can do to support our mental health and emotional wellness and our wellness in general is learning how to take time to recognize what is actually happening in our body and what's going on. Okay. Feel free to pause the video at any time so you guys can practice these strategies or be more intentional about what it is that you're dealing with, right? So, a great stress management strategy is actually identifying your stress triggers. So, identifying them, spending time, what is the biggest thing? Like what is causing you the emotional distress, right? Recognizing, is it a personal stressors? Are there things happening around me in work or things that I cannot control? Was there something that I can control, right? And signs of stress would be physical, emotional, behavioral, and cognitive symptoms. Pounding in the chest, difficult, feeling tense is a big one, right? So let's do a quick pause, quick assessment on yourself. So, what are your top 3 stressors? Take a moment to pause and think about that. Write them down somewhere. Now that you've come back from your pause to write down what your top 3 stressors are, here are some immediate stress reduction techniques. What's really important about coping skills or any type of technique is repetition. So, yes, you're going to feel a relaxation state, but it's really important that you get in a habit of doing it regularly, not just when you're in crisis. So I encourage you today to really be intentional as you're watching this webinar. Pause and write. Get your phone out. Time like a dinner, breakfast, dinner, or lunch, or bedtime, morning time routine. Stacking this activity with something already that's in your routine and adding it to your calendar so you have reminders, right? So one of the things, go ahead and follow along with me, is breathing exercises. So one of my favorite, it's just there's so many, you can look up which one you like the best, but this one is inhaling through your nose for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and exhaling through your mouth for 4 seconds. It's really important with this breathing that you're going in through your nose and out through your mouth, nice and slow. So go ahead and let's try it. Before we try it, take a moment and notice that 0 to 10, 10 is super anxious. Super stressed. 0 is pretty chill. Notice where your level of stress is in your body. Once you've got that number, go ahead and follow along with me. Okay, here we go. We're going to breathe in through our nose, starting now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Okay, go ahead and come back to me. So do that as many times until you actually feel the relief. So notice right now, take a pause and notice what was your stress level was started and what number would you give it now? Even if it's moved 1 point down, that's great. Keep doing it until you feel the desired level of relaxation that you want. The next one is EFT tapping, which is emotional freedom tapping. I love this one so much. Tapping is associated with meridian points. If you think of acupuncture or pressure points, the tapping actually helps release and move energy or emotional distress through our body. And so throughout our body, so we can move it around and move our energy and feel much better about it. And so, same thing, it's going to take repetition, although you might feel it right away. So, I'm going to invite you to do this. You can research or look online, and there's so many different tappings. I like to use quicker versions. So, you're going to tap right here on the side of your karate chop point, which is the side of your hand. And you're just going to repeat after me. It's a very simple phrase that we're going to go through. There are other tappings that take 10 minutes, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use a short, effective one I use with kids all the time, and it's just my favorite go-to. The phrase that we're going to do when you repeat after me is, even though I feel very stressed, I completely love and accept myself. If you want to make it more personal, you would add, even though I feel so stressed about work, I completely love and accept myself. So, what you're doing in the tapping script is you are acknowledging the feeling that you're feeling about whatever it is that the situation is. And then you're going to pair it with an affirmation that feels true to you, or one that you like. I completely love and accept myself. It's my number one top go to. You can use any type of affirmation, draw from your spirituality or verses or whatnot as well. All right, when I ask you to repeat after me, I will have you go through points right here on I call it your eyebrow. Then I'll say side eye, underneath your eye, underneath your nose, underneath your lip, your collarbone, and the top of your head. There is one below your armpit, but I like to keep it a little short, same effect. So when I say those positions, you don't need to repeat that part. So let's get started. You only repeat the phrase. Even though I feel very stressed about, I completely love and accept myself. And even though I feel very stressed about, I completely love and accept myself. And even though I feel very stressed about, I completely love and accept myself. Then we're going to move up to the eyebrow point. And even though, side eye, I feel very stressed, underneath eye, about, this is where you fill it in. What is the issue? Whenever I have the pause after the about, you're going to fill in what it is. I completely, underneath your nose, underneath your mouth, love myself, collarbone, and accept myself, top of the head, and trust my body to relax. All right, come back. So you're going to repeat that until you feel calm or less stress. And same thing as with all these exercises or these practices. Notice what you feel before the level of stress you have, and notice what you have afterwards. And continue that until you feel the desired effect. The next thing we're going to do is a mindfulness exercise, which you can really do any type of mindfulness. This is an easy one that I really like. So, one is you're going to focus on your breath. So, you're just going to follow along with me. All right. I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Close your eyes. I invite you to close your eyes if you're able to. Nice and slow. I want you to continue breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just notice your breath and what it feels like as it goes in through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice what it feels like. Notice what it sounds like. Notice the expansion of your lungs, or the way the breath feels as it goes in through your nose or exhales through your mouth. Just focus your attention on that for a moment. Now I want you to put your hand over your heart. If you're not able to do that, just bring attention to your heart. Notice how it feels inside your chest. Notice the beating of your heart, the expansion of your body as your heart beats. Just be mindful. Notice, what else do you feel as your heart beats? Now I want you to notice your hands, or if you're not able to notice your hands, notice any body part that is with your arms or elbow or whatnot, and just pay attention to what it feels like. What's the skin texture? What is it laying against? Does it feel cool or warm? Just notice, what does it feel like? Next, I want you to notice your feet, whether they're standing or they're flat or wherever they are. Just notice how they feel. And if you cannot notice your feet, notice another body part that feels comfortable and just give it attention. Does it tingle? Is it sitting on something or touching against something? What does it feel like? Okay. Now I want you to just notice how you feel now. Notice that level of stress if it went down or up. Those are 3 techniques. So, in summary, you did breathing exercise, you did an EFT, and you did a mindfulness exercise. So, stop the video, write down which ones was your go to and your favorites, right? And then go ahead and take this moment, this action step, to look at your schedule and think when would be the best time that I could practice these things. And the goal is to shoot for 3 times a day. So, 3 times a day, pair it with something that's already on your routine, put it in your phone as a reminder. Go ahead and do that right now once you pause the video. Okay. Now that you did that action step of with intention choosing which ones you want to practice 3 times a day and putting it in your calendar, let's talk about long term stress management strategies. So, one of them is healthy lifestyle habits. So, it's really important to ensure that you are eating healthy foods. My go to recommendation is eating clean, as less processed things as you can, more fruits and vegetables and lean proteins, and stay away as much as possible from processed or dyes. Then, physical activity. My go to is to tell clients at minimum 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day at minimum. If you need to break them up in parts, great. Break them up, 5-minute intervals, but get yourself moving. And then the other thing is making sure you get 20 minutes of sunlight at minimum per day. That's going to help as well. So we're talking nutrition, protecting your sleep, getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on what your body needs, physical activity, movement, right? And then the importance of setting healthy boundaries in work and in personal life. That's going to be really important. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. The other thing is cognitive strategies. So, practicing reframing thoughts. So, the idea of reframing a thought is if you're having a situation, you have some type of thought that comes after that. And that thought leads your emotions, and then your emotions lead your behavior. It's called the CBT triangle. And so, I often help clients work on reframing thoughts. So, it's okay to have any type of feeling that you have. Allow yourself to feel that. It's not about having positive toxic positivity. Excuse me. It's not about that. It's about acknowledging and honoring the feeling that you have and recognizing it and allowing it to feel. And then recognizing the thoughts that you're having and looking for ways that you can change that thought into something more helpful that would change the way that you feel once you've acknowledged the feeling. And it's okay to sit in the feeling. I recommend you sit in the feeling. But once you've done that, an example could be when maybe your boss gives you a new task, right? And or actually, let me do one for home life. Let's say you have got the kids down for bed. You had a long work day. It is 9 o'clock. Your dishes are full in the sink. You do not want to do these dishes. It's okay to skip the dishes every now and then, right? But let's talk about, right, that's the situation, the dishes. And you really don't enjoy doing dishes, but you love to cook, right? So maybe the thought you're having is, I hate this. This is a pigsty. I hate the way my kids or whatever, like, or whoever, my partner's not help, whatever. So how can we reframe that? I hate this. This is such a mess in a pigsty. Nobody helps me, right? How can we reframe that? An example of reframing that could be when I do these dishes, even though I'm tired right now, I will feel less chaotic, or my kitchen will be much cleaner and it makes me feel more relaxed. Or when I do the dishes, I'll have clean dishes to use for my family. Or when I do the dishes, that keeps from ants looking for food, right? So finding some type of reframe, because then my emotion will be different, right? Your emotion will be maybe more calm or neutral. So your behavior will be more motivated to finish the dishes. So that's an example. The other thing is practicing gratitude and journaling. There's plenty of research out there that talks about writing down, journaling, expressing your feelings and your emotion will actually help with right left brain connection and processing. It improves our mood. There's a lot of benefits from it. So if you don't like the actual writing part, make a collage or art and doodle and put some words on there. But practicing gratitude also is known to improve our mood, reduce depression, reduce anxiety, manage stress much more, and it helps with more positive or helpful thought processing. So practice gratitude. Then time management and work life balance is really important. One of the types of time management things that can be useful is the Pomodoro technique, which is working 25 minutes and then taking a 5-minute break. Of course, work within the time frame that feels good for you, but the smaller chunks that you have, the better outcomes you're going to have. Versus I'm going to work for 2 hours and then take a break, right? So that's going to be really helpful. And then building helpful systems and routines. Helpful systems and routines. Look at areas in your life that feel very overwhelming. Maybe it's your morning routine with your kiddos and you're always running out the door, stressed, and now we're yelling and rushing kids, right? What are ways that you can build a routine just on the morning? And okay, what are things you can get ready at night? Is there someone who can assist in this? Are your children old enough to get their stuff together and get it by the door before bedtime, right? Where can you improve routines and systems? And then saying no, this goes into boundaries without guilt and working on compassion and fostering a sense of, I don't have to feel guilty about saying no. Role play that boundary setting scenarios with a trusted friend or a therapist and practicing that because oftentimes it can be a source of anxiety, saying no and keeping boundaries, right? So that can be an issue too. So practice it so you can feel like it's more normal to do and you feel more courageous on doing it. And then normalizing asking for help. Get people on board to help you. It is okay to ask for help. And I don't know who taught us or where we got this notion that we should be doing everything on our own, by ourselves, and that it's weakness or whatnot to ask for help. No, we need each other. Humanity needs each other. So normalize asking for help from families, friends, and onboarding your kids and partner. As a parent coach, I tell families all the time, like your kids could be doing so much more. They really could be like having a routine where and chores for them is going to not only help you and help your family system, but it's going to teach them life skills, which is really important, and team building, family support. There's so many things. So that's going to help as well. Or asking family and friends who can support you in picking up kids or support you in any type of way, hearing, venting, right? And then practicing problem solving. That's a number one thing, or a really big thing, rather, a number one thing. Even as adults, we can have issues with doing that type of thing, problem solving, right? And so it's going to be really important to do that, to problem solve. And I will tell you quickly how to do that. So, one of the ways to problem solve is breaking it down into parts. And I'll tell you how I do this with clients, with my own kiddos, all ages, because oftentimes we make the assumption as adults that we just know how to problem solve. There are many of us who don't, or we don't take it in an approach that is helpful for us. So, a quick way to problem solve is you have the situation. A quick and efficient way is you have the situation, and then what you do is you think of all the possible choices that you could do. And you don't have to be like, oh, already analyzing if it's right or wrong. Just write down your options and then go through each one and think about what would be the outcome if I were to choose option one? What would be the outcome if I were to choose option two? What would be the outcome if I could choose option three? One of your options could be asking someone for help to problem solve, and that's okay too, right? And then you go back and you try that thing, whatever, which one you choose, you decide and you choose which would be the best outcome. Once you choose it, you try it out. If it doesn't work, no big deal. You have that list, right, of option that you can try. That's going to build your confidence and manage your stress levels. Alrighty, so you know that I'm a licensed therapist, so I wanted to kind of let you guys know how helpful therapy can be. with managing stress. And prevention is key. There's a big misconception out there about mental health therapy or about therapy that, oh, you only go if you're in crisis, right? No, let's go before we're in crisis. Maybe we're having just a little bit of trouble. Let's get in there as soon as we can, because that's what's going to really help us, right? um, Prevention and prevention and prevention. Get in there in advance. Therapists have a lot of great tools on asking the questions that other people aren't asking you, or asking the questions that you're not thinking about on your own, that are very good perspective questions that will help you really analyze things. It'll help you explore your stressors. They'll help you develop coping skills and strategies and process emotions and feelings. We can use cognitive behavioral therapy, which I already gave you an example of the cognitive triangle and reframing thoughts. We can help you with mindfulness based approaches that are really effective. There's also things that we can do that each therapist might have a specialization in that can be even more useful, or extra useful to the things that I already talked about. And I'm going to actually talk about that in this webinar in just a few minutes. But the other thing is getting group therapy or support groups. You don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to be in therapy. That's the beauty. You don't have to have any type of diagnosis. Yes, part of the therapy process can absolutely be like, hey, let's screen for these things, like, and see, that way we have a roadmap of how to support you the best. But you don't have to. One of my favorite business coaches, and who's also a therapist, she talks about she goes to therapy twice a week for the last 6 years because it's what keeps her grounded, right? She's able to bounce off business ideas and stressors, and it's what keeps her feeling whole and holistic, and feeling like regulated, right? So there's therapy can be a great tool. Having support groups can be an affordable approach, and you can lean on a community of other people who know what you're going through too, right? And then group therapy can be a great tool to work on stress management or whatnot, and different things, right? So I highly recommend that. The other thing too is some of the unique services that we provide here at Trice Energy Counseling that are great for stress relief, that I pair as a provider of neurofeedback with my therapy session. And I also provide neurofeedback services for those who are not in therapy as well, that just want the lens neurofeedback. So, the lens neurofeedback is a holistic approach that really helps regulate our brain's function and improves our brain's resiliency to stress and enhancing our relaxation. It does so many things. It reduces anxiety, depression, improves executive functioning with ADHD. But today I'm just going to focus about the stress management. So, it really helps the brain balance dysregulated brain waves, which contribute to stress and anxiety and fatigue. And so, what the neurofeedback lens system does is actually records your brain through brain waves through head sensors or body sensors, depending on what the client needs. And then it mirrors it right back into the body. So it records your actual brainwave activity, and then it mirrors it into the body and brain, and it shows the brain the state of your current brainwaves. And if they're suppress these brain waves, or they're under functioning, or they're over functioning, or they're difficult to access, your body will actually naturally heal itself, your body and brain. The lens machine will activate that natural self healing, and it'll bring those brain waves right back into range within 48 hours. So, very, very powerful tool to be paired with therapy, or to just use outside of therapy. Excuse me. And so there's lots of research that suggests that stress is often correlates with excessive beta waves. So your brain waves, you have 5 brain waves. And so if you have too much or overactive brain beta waves, high alertness, and you're going to see high anxiety. And then stress is related to low alpha theta waves, underworking alpha and theta, which is their focus, and the purpose of alpha and theta is relaxation and deep focus. So lens neurofeedback really helps normalize these brainwave patterns and bring them back into a healthy range, promoting a calm state. And so many people and clients will report, gosh, I feel like no matter what's going on, I can face it with a calm way. I can think and problem solve so much better. Then I'm kind of like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulder. I got this. I can do whatever life throws at me. That's the kind of effect that they have with lens. It's really powerful and it pairs beautifully with therapy. Um, Many clients will then get an improved report from experiencing improved sleep, deep rested sleep, reduced anxiety, and enhanced emotional resiliency, being able to regulate our emotions so much more within 48 hours of a neurofeedback session. So, super powerful. And it really helps in therapy when I'm working with trauma and processing trauma or anxiety triggers because it calms down our nervous system in such a beautiful way so that we can actually process them. The other thing that we like to use at Trice Energy is many of our counselors are able to use brain spotting, which is a therapy modality, and that is a technique that accesses and processes deep emotional stress that's stored in the brain and body, helping people resolve trauma or chronic stress patterns or trigger anxiety triggers or confidence issues. And so the brain spotting helps access and process the stress that's stored in that subcortical brain area down here versus the thinking brain. And that's where your emotional and physical trauma or emotional distress are often kind of sprout from, where that coding is having taking place. Brain spotting allows us to be able to tap into that unresolved emotional distress, whether it's stress, trauma, anxiety triggers, and then regulate the nervous system and by identifying specific eye positions. And so it really does, brain spotting activates the body's natural healing process. And it shifts the brain from that fight or flight response or freeze or fawn, and it moves it into balanced and relaxed state. So all of my clients report. I also do my own brain spotting therapy as well with my own therapist. And you get this sense of, so my clients say this, I've experienced like this. You feel so calm, your body feels relaxed, you feel so good afterwards. This and it really helps reduce any hyperarousal and tension, intrusive thoughts. It reduces chronic tension in your body, which can lead to, if it's untreated or reduced, right? You can have long term issues, right? But brain spotting will lead to long term stress relief because we're just dealing with the core issues of what's causing the stress. So when you pair stress management, coping skills, doing the basics of eating well, exercising, sleeping well, addressing any trauma or anxiety issues. You're doing neurofeedback. If you're doing this holistic, whole body approach, you're going to have a well rested body. You're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel you're going to have better health outcomes and mental health outcomes, right? So that's kind of a brief overview of what brain spotting does and the way that brain spotting works. It's really awesome. It's such an easy thing to do, like to set up. It's basically the therapist would ask you to locate and not acknowledge what it is that you're feeling, um, and find the feeling in your body. Whatever, you don't even have to necessarily tell them what happened to you. I tell clients all the time and they're like, I can't talk about it, it's too hard. No problem. Why don't you just think about how it made you feel, and where do you find that in your body right now? Locate that feeling in the body, and what does it feel like? And then I help them find an eye position in their space and where they feel more intense, that feeling. And then they just look at that feeling. It's a focused mindfulness. They pay attention. I'm sorry, they look at that space, not that feeling. They look at the space wherever their eyes land that it felt more intense, and they just stay there looking at the focused mindfulness. And then their body will naturally go into processing, their body and brain. And that's kind of how easy the brain spotting is. The clients will cycle through, meaning the emotions might feel a little more intense, and then they will come down. And that's where you get that relief, that stress relief, that anxiety relief, that depression relief. You feel so much better afterwards. Um, so, great tool. So I went over today stress management, what you can do, what are underlying issues of stress, what are other things that you can do. So let's try your best, right, guys? It's all about trying your best. Let's do this. I want you to pause the video and read over these questions and answer these with intention. So, what is the one skill that you can use every day to reduce your stress? Work on that one thing until you've accomplished it and then build to the second, right? Who is someone that you can have accountability with as you're taking initiative to work on your stress management? Maybe a partner, someone who can do it with you, right? What is your why for the stress management? Write this where you can see it. Oftentimes, we might struggle with motivation when we're extremely stressed. So, if you can actually identify why you are having a hard time, I'm sorry, why you want to do this. Is it for greater health benefits because you're trying to heal your heart and make sure you take care of your heart? Is it because you want to be able to talk so much better with your kiddos and not be, so stressed out that we're snapping at them or your partner, right? Connect to your why, and you're going to be able to follow through so much better. I hope that you enjoyed this webinar. If you we'd love to hear feedback from you guys. Please reach out to us. You can visit our website, you can visit our event page, but you can email us. There's our email information. We'd love to hear what more webinars you would like to know more information. We'd love to hear if this was helpful. Please feel free to share with whoever you feel would need it. And if you felt that this was really helpful to you, please consider donating to our donation fund that we have. No pressure if you don't, or share it with someone who can donate. Tri-Synergy, we believe in trying to make mental health services or wellness service affordable to our community. And by doing that, we started a Bridging the Gap to Mental Health Services donation fund that is a community-based donation fund. So this allows us to be able to help families that are in need be able to pay for services, for counseling services or for wellness services. And so please consider making a donation. You can find the donation link at our website or on the information on our newsletter or in our Eventbrite page, wherever you found this webinar. And if not, it's okay if you can't. Please, I would encourage you to send it to someone who can. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear about your stress management and stress relief journey.